Hello, everyone. I'm glad y'all can join us tonight. We're going to be covering a case where we can have a great impact. We're looking at a case that, in true crime, um, it's very rare that when we look at some of these cold cases of the missing and we have an opportunity where we can have something uh, that is so positive, and we have the opportunity to bring home an abducted child. And tonight, show will be focused on that. As always in all our shows, if you would, let's not use any names or initials of suspects or making accusations against anyone. If you have information regarding anyone, notify law enforcement. Notifying each other in chat will have no impact on this case whatsoever. It's a waste of time, and all to do is get you blocked and get out of here. So whenever we focus on these cases, we don't want to, not only is it harmful to possible innocent people, but it also that if there's someone out there that has some critical information that they need to relay to law enforcement, if they see that there's a consensus among people within chat, that they may overlook that one tip and not forward it to law enforcement. And we don't want to have that impact. We want to be positive, and we don't want to take away from anyone that may have critical information that they could forward to police. But with that being said, we'll get into it. From the starting in the jail, road patrol, working my way up in investigations. From that, trained in all areas of law enforcement, everything from being a SWAT team entry leader to counter sniper. Then became a state certified crime scene tech, which helped me immensely in my processing and of crime scenes in the investigative part of my career. And then after I retired, I took everything I learned from all the cases I had worked, and I worked everything from simple crimes all the way up to homicides. But I took all that information and had an opportunity now to be able to bring that to the web sleuth world, and that's what I've done. I'm trying to be an ambassador to between law enforcement and all the web sleuths out there, because what we can do as a community is absolutely unbelievable, and we should all have a focus and work towards a certain point so that we can have a positive impact.
Here.
Thank you,
Kristen is a first member.
Yes, we just started membership and everything. And Kristen, you're our first member.
Thank you.
But and we appreciate your support. We've got a lot of programs and a lot of things that we want to do as we move forward with this platform. But anyway, tonight we're going to be focusing especially upon this. And like I said, it's something that we rarely get an opportunity that we can actually bring up someone home. And there's no more deserving person to help rescue and bring home than Michael Monkey Vaughan. Thank you.
You got another one. Thank you, Checking Convictions.
We appreciate all y'all's support. It means a lot to us. It really does. But anyway, Michael, and everyone affectionately calls him Monkey. And if you watch any of the videos, go on YouTube, there's a lot of content out there about this young man. And I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable what a light and, that when you see him play and interact, that, most certainly this is a child that we need to focus on and do everything in our power, in which law enforcement and the family, they focused on that, and they've tried and they've done everything. And as you'll see through, as we go through this case, you'll see that the whole community is behind this. Of course, law enforcement is doing an investigation on it. We'll cover some of that. We'll cover some of the command structure, how law enforcement will address this issue and addresses other issues similar to this, so that as we move forward and there's other cases out there that we're trying to have an impact on, this here is a great opportunity for us to be able to develop a plan of action so that you can go out there and talk to your departments and your local authorities, so that if you have a missing child in your area, you know immediately what law enforcement is going to be doing and how you can assist and save time and get the information out there, because there are certain issues, as everyone knows now, about the Amber Alert. Our government has great intent, but they also, straddled it with certain criteria that doesn't perform to what it needs to. And so there's certain ways now with the social media platform and what it has become that we as on the true crime communities and everything, that we can bypass. We have just as much power as what law enforcement has, if not more so, with all this, the platforms and apps that are out there now. It's just a matter of organizing them and bringing them to focus so that we can help, such as we will tonight with Michael, and try to bring him home. But here's a little bit bigger picture of him. As you can see, I mean, absolutely gorgeous child, just full of life. And so we need to focus on this. And like I said, we're going to be focusing a lot about the community he lived in. There's a lot of information and what law enforcement would have done when they responded to this call and what they've done since then. And tonight's program is more focusing about how we would identify suspects and the opportunities and things that would have occurred in that neighborhood and what were the risk factors for him being abducted. And as you look at this neighborhood, you're going to see certain things that this child is a low-risk child to be abducted, even though he played out in a certain neighborhood. But, when you look at this on the outskirts of town, surrounded by fields, the neighborhood he lived in had a main single entryway, basically, that you could get in and out of the subdivision. And I think I counted the residents that's within that subdivision. You're looking at somewhere around 220 to 250 residences located on this one entry point going into this area. And so when you look at the demographics, which I did, and saw what was number of persons per household, we're only looking at around 500 to 600 individuals that's in this small community on the outskirts of Fruitland, Idaho, which in law enforcement, those are good numbers to work with. That allows you to absolutely focus upon certain criteria that you would have in an abduction or a kidnapping. And I say those two words for the fact that there is a fine line and differences between abductions and kidnappings and way people will be charged when they find Michael and bring him home. But when we look at the opportunities and what were the danger zones that's within this community, this is the way law enforcement looks at it. Because like I said, when you have a choke point of how you come into a community and leave, and with most certainly that there's a camera on that roadway that has caught some critical information. And that may not be the information that law enforcement has released. They may have far more information that they're holding close to the chest that we don't know about. Because if you have a camera that's collecting data on a entryway, as you can see here, there's a bottom third of the screen. There's Southwest 8th Street. That's the main in and out of this little community. And so on that one street, it appears that that's where the camera was. I may be mistaken, but right now that's from all the information I've looked at and seen, that is the roadway that goes in and out. And a lot of the traffic is caught that's down towards the area where Monkey lived, which is down on 9th Street. But the information that they released and trying to identify, I think, was a couple of vehicles, and they got it down to one now. And we'll be going over some of that also later. But when you look at this community and you have this choke point, law enforcement is going to be looking at a lot of data of how they will try to identify suspects. There's certain normal traffic patterns. And when you have such an area, such a roadway, and a camera system, you'll be able to tell what is the normal traffic patterns day in, day out, hour by hour, minute by minute. Law enforcement will address those issues. They'll look at that and evaluate it and identify things that they need to know and what they need help from the public on and release that information. Other information they may already know and been able to identify, and they'll hold that information. Just because they haven't released it doesn't mean they don't know it. And then and then when you count in the cell phone data of who was in certain areas, what type of cell phone usage is there in that area, and within a certain parameters within, because now with certain data and certain processes, algorithms, and ability to locate and use the cell phone data, they can put you down almost, even with the GPS stuff, they can really narrow it down to where certain individuals are at almost any time of day if you have certain devices or certain vehicles. And so they would track all that. They're going to analyze all that information. They're going to see, is there unknown burner phones or new phones that came into the area? Was there certain traffic that's unusual? Is there phones that have since this time never shown up again? But they'll analyze all that stuff, evaluate it, and send out and do an investigation and ID that information and think tank it out and try to come up with who are our suspects. And then, of course, within this community, when they first get the call that they respond that you have a missing child, of course, there's always that first initial search of looking around the residence, looking in the neighborhood, who are the friends, what was the victimology of the missing person, which was a 5-year-old, and from the description of listening to some of the families talking about the activities of that day, Monkey was doing what he always did. He was wanting to go out and play with somebody. He was hunting a friend to play with. And he left that residence with that intent, met several neighbors. One neighbor actually, I believe, brought him back to the house, which was the last sighting of him. But being a 5-year-old, he has one thought on his mind. He wants to go play. I have a grandson, exact same thing. When it's playtime, it's playtime. All of us can relate to what a child, when they get something on their mind, what they want to do. That, they're stubborn and they want to do what children do. And so he was focused on, he wanted a playmate. So most certainly, anyone interrupting and bringing him home, I've still got to go play with other friends, and that's what he wanted to do. And so within this community, there are certain areas where children collect, and he knew those areas. Of course, he lived on, he's lives in a certain part of this subdivision, and he's looking for his playmate in one area. A few hundred feet away, there's another little park area with a little splash pad, I think they call it up there, and it's a play park where children have gathered. And I think Monkey had been there before and actually had even went there, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, on his own a few times, and had been gathered up by his family and brought back. Like I said, kids are kids. But within this danger zone is our most critical focus point from law enforcement, because we have to go in there and we're going to identify all the residences and the residential threats, the community threats to what could be a child. Is there any water hazards, pools, otherwise? You check them, secure them. You find out who your registered offenders are. You go and whatever measures have to be taken to clear those residences and those homes, which in this case, as I looked into it, there's within this community, there is a risk factor of registered offenders. And most certainly law enforcement would be looking at them. But we also have to look at that anyone that lives within that residential area that may not be registered, may not have been identified at this time as a sexual predator or offender. And has he crossed paths? Did a monkey cross paths with them? And so they will look at that, because whenever you abduct a child, you've got to have a place to take them, or you have to be whereas you can take them or secure them and keep them secretive that other people don't realize, because you can't bring home a child and not other people realize it if other people are within that residence. So you look at those single individual residences. You identify them. You'll most certainly look at where the community feelings are about certain people that live in a community. Law enforcement would look at recent crimes. Do we have prowlers? Do we have anyone that might have approached children? They'll go out there and canvass the neighborhood, of course, and be asking all different types of questions from the neighbors and everything. Have you seen anything odd, strange people in the neighborhood? Thank you, Agency Susan. That means a lot to us. Once again, appreciate you for your support.
Y'all are so sweet.
It is. It's so humble. Absolutely is. But with law enforcement out there identifying and trying to figure out every threat that could be from him, being residential, roadway, abduction, there is so much that law enforcement has within a game plan. It's not that you just have someone that walks out there, some officer that has no clue. There's a vast quantity of training opportunities out there for law enforcement, especially in this area, due to all the issues over the years of missing children and mishandling of cases. And it still occurs, but it's nowhere as bad as what it once was. But we still have to address there's room for improvement for law enforcement and what measures were taken from this. I've watched some of the interviews that law enforcement presented on this of what measures were taken. I know the Amber Alert, like I said, failed once again, and we got to address that issue. And I think it's easier for us as at the public level to have a greater impact that, sometimes government, they just fail us, and it takes so long to get changes made. And when those changes are made, one person can make a mistake and it has such a great impact. But we as individuals, and with what access we have with the internet and all these platforms now, we can have a great impact. But back to focusing on this danger zone and what could be within this neighborhood, that you have a small child looking for a playmate, and he's going up and down the street, passing houses. And if there is an unidentified predator within this area that had seen him before, and it being an opportunity that he may act within a single moment, is that what happened? Law enforcement will look at that. I don't know at this time. I haven't done and have all the access to all the documentation or paperwork, or even YouTubers that have far more knowledge on me. I relatively have only been looking on this case for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. Level-headed, most certainly has helped me immensely, get me up to speed on it, and I appreciate him. There's some other YouTubers out there, and so we have to appreciate those that have the great intent and are trying to progress this case forward. But as law enforcement looks at this and the tips come in, they'll check out all these tips, and I believe they have thousands of tips that's come in on this. And I mean, there's so much data that from the first time the officers get here and the chaos of those first moments, because you have upset family And families say strange things at the beginning of cases. It's always that case. Their timelines are messed up. They're in a panic. Thought processes aren't right. And law enforcement understands that. And we understand that we try to work with that the best we can. But we have to try to figure out all the suspects that could be here. And are the suspects that we're looking for, are they someone that is a spontaneous abduction that from Monkey being out in this certain location and he progressed through the neighborhood looking for, a playmate? Did he cross paths with a predator that is not known or has been identified or registered as a sex offender or as someone that would harm a child? And like I said, and all the training that we have, law enforcement investigators and FBI being called in, they would know what to do and they know how to follow up on these leads and look at it. And, because like I said, if there's other people at home or within the home within a short time period, because we're looking at a really tight timeline that this could have occurred. We're less than a half hour, probably less than 20 minutes that the actual abduction could have occurred. And, what type of ruse might have been used to either lure him into a vehicle or into a residence? And is this person that's within that residential area, has he seen Michael previously? Has he seen Michael previously as he walked or drove through the neighborhood? Is he known to the family? Because sometimes in these abductions, a large percentage are known to the family. The relationship can be anything from close to just, hit and miss. Yeah, I know who they are. But with an abduction, there is a high risk of harm. That if and the motive is sexual, that's just cold hard facts, and we have to pray that that's not the case. But with kidnapping, we're looking at something that's not so much spontaneous. You're looking at people that are known to the family that might have a reason or something to gain from it. But like I said, Michael lived in a neighborhood that was low risk. I mean, it's one way in and out. It's not like it. The family is they working class citizens. They go out, work, do their job, come home. It's not like it was a monetary driven type of kidnapping. There's other types of kidnappings, whereas, most recently you can look in the news and see some that sometimes people go out there, they take a child for some type of emotional reason. And, we have children now that have gone through college that have realized that they were kidnapped at before their earliest memories. And they know who mom is or who they've addressed mom for 20 something years and have found out that no, that's not mom. And so, things like this do occur. And while the odds are lower, but it's still hope. And we have to look at that and we have to fight. And for that reason, to bring him home. And what was the motivation and how could that have been planned? How could that have been pulled off? And most certainly, law enforcement will be looking at both of these abilities and possibilities of someone going in and having the knowledge of what his routine daily was. Because children, they're little humans also, and they have habits. They have certain times that they play. They have certain places they play at. They have friends, and we're all creatures of habit. All you got to know is what those habits are, and you can go out there and find these individuals. But from the law enforcement perspective, they've released this picture of an unknown male walking near the splash park area. And they won't know who he is. They haven't been able to identify him yet. And so there's going to be a lot of focus. And most certainly, we should go out there, anyone and everyone that knows anyone in that neighborhood, because it's within that neighborhood that the keys lie. That go in there and look at all your old photographs of your children playing at the park. Look in the background. Don't look at the kids, but look in the backgrounds of those pictures. What do you see? If you made a video, watch those videos, look in the backgrounds. Do you see an adult male that is our character staring at children? And, we as a community should absolutely, every opportunity, go and try to make as many contacts as we can with people from that neighborhood to do so. Because they may have that one piece of information that, just like with the Boston bombers, they took everybody's videos of that one moment in time, and they were able to track and identify two males that committed that horrible crime out of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that were gathered, and they were able to do it. Can we do it with this? Let's hope so, and let's try. But also, law enforcement released this image of a vehicle traveling down the roadway of a Honda Pilot, and they may or may not know who the owner is, may or may not know who the driver is, but most certainly, this is all information that law enforcement would be processing. Now, as far as the child abduction response team, and we're going to get more into that, we understand how some of the things that law enforcement would look at as far as trying to identify a suspect within a neighborhood, from the cell phone data, collecting videos such as they did of the road, but also from other businesses, commercial, residential security cameras, car cameras, traffic cam. There's so much information to get out there. But when law enforcement responds and they at some point declare that that they need assistance, and that, there's a lot of agencies out there that have signed mutual aid agreements that they'll come in and help and come in and assist. And there's certain structures within the government that when you enact such a thing, everybody wants to come and find that child, and they'll respond. Has it gotten better over the years? The Amber Alert is more as a civilian notification among residences and people that's not in law enforcement. But when law enforcement's notified, instantly it goes on the NCIC, which is National Crime Information Center, and then it will go on the state parallel information center that's, whatever Idaho's information center that parallels the national information center. It goes out to all the agencies within that state. It goes out nationally to everybody. They can see this. These alerts are put out. But when you miss the Amber Alert, it doesn't go to the public side unless it meets certain criteria. But regardless, government responds. They send everybody, the FBI, whoever that they request. I've never in my life ever called for someone to come and help me look for a child that we didn't have a enormous response. And sometimes, they did end in tragedy. We'd find them in those water hazards, but that was because we checked those water hazards, and sometimes children that are close, as far as what the profile for Michael is, looking at the area, there was only a few small above ground pools and stuff. So, and they would have been checked, but the child abduction response team program that came about in these multi-agencies, that as they come together and they work together, and you have to look at it, that the families and stuff, that when they may not see everything behind the scenes of what efforts are being placed forth. And that's one of the reasons I want to cover some of this stuff, is that all these agencies come together for one purpose, that we want to find that child. And if it is a child that has come to harm, we want to find that predator, for the fact that we have to take them off the street so that never happens again to another child. But, there is the percentage of times that we go out there and they're successful in tracking a child down and rescuing a child. But, you have everything that from the cart, that these groups of individuals that all respond and create this team, that you have a coordinator. And this is just basic chain of command, that you identify someone that's going to bring this team together. They're going to make assignments from the activation of the cart, coordinate Amber Alert if it's applicable, which is absolutely aggravates me to death every time I think about it on all these cases that you see time and time again. It's a failure. And but they'll set up everything from news conferences, briefs, incident briefings, communication centers, assignments for investigators, assignments for law enforcement so they can do that neighborhood canvas, notify everybody we can, bring in whatever type of K9s that we need to bring in, then start setting up investigators to go out and check on some of these registered offenders. And, you know, like I said, it gets better over the years, and hopefully at some point it will be a well-oiled machine, although the FBI does a pretty good job at it. But they'll have response times, you know, that everything has to start at the earliest moments that you can. Every minute wasted and is a minute lost, and you never get it back. But and so much chaos when you first start and you respond to this. And I'm not making excuses for law enforcement, but you know, sometimes law enforcement does fail. But we tried to put our best effort forward. That we're going to make mistakes. We're human, but you know, when everything does come together and we start getting control of the chaos and we start focusing, we get organized, everything starts flowing great. But, you know, everybody is assigned certain tasks. They have certain assignments. They have briefings, debriefings, and they'll, whatever the investigation leads them to, you know, you're going to have multiple investigations running parallel. You know, you got people that's going to be checking those sex offenders. You're going to have people that's checking those waterways. You're going to have aerial searches. You're going to have anything and everything. You're going to have those roadblocks. And you can have that, you know, that we set up a containment zone that, okay, he's lost within this certain area. Notify as many people as you can and set up a containment zone that maybe they'll wander out. And of course, you do your neighborhood canvases and stuff. But everybody's trained together. Everybody distributes the information, receives the information, and does their job. I'm not going to go over this line by line. You most certainly can come back, stop, look at it, share it, and see how all these units come together and all these agencies for one purpose, and that's trying to save these children. But the video canvas options and the stuff that is so vital, just like in this case here. I mean, that's a dream video that, like I said, they're not just going to concentrate on that 30-minute period. Whatever the loop of that video and whatever the memory that's held within that camera system, they're going to analyze every second of it, day after day, before and after. What's changed? What hasn't changed? Who was the route? For the fact that while someone may be just traveling through there routinely every day at a certain time, we can go interview those people and find out what information they have. What did you see 30 minutes before? What did you see an hour before? When you went down the street, did you see a vehicle parked? Did you see people walking? Did you see someone standing, smoking? What was suspicious? Did someone, a vehicle you never seen before? Was there something going on that you're not? So there's a lot of information that they can get from a video. And most certainly from what I've seen of this, I know it's limited of what we have and what I have, but it's very reassuring that from an investigative standpoint, and when you hear law enforcement says that we have persons of interest and we have information, that is very comforting to me. There's an organizational structure that you can see here. That's, you have to, it covers every topic. And like I said, the incident command centers, they train for these things, and you may not see it, but somewhere it's going on. You've got some command staff. Sometimes the small agencies, it's going to be a smaller response. Sometimes it's absolutely amazing how large a response you'll get and how big parking areas and command centers can explode into. I don't know what the case is on this one yet, but will be interested to learn. But you got all these people that will come from every agency you can imagine, that when you look at the, search and rescue teams, probation officers, seasoned detectives, juvenile officers, K9 units, fire, rescue, marshal service, postal service, U.S. Secret. So, the government, we have such a vast group of people that we can call from that will respond. Did they do it in this case? I don't know the full potential of what they've done, but like I said, I look forward to learning as we look more into this case and we look more into this psychological parts of why an offender may have crossed paths with him, and will law enforcement identify who that offender is. Looking at the location, limited access, limited number of people, limited number of suspects, and I would say that yes, they're most certainly, law enforcement has some key people that they're looking at and focused on. But once again, like I said, this is a monkey, a beautiful child, and we should do everything we can to bring focus on him and see if we can't find him and get him back home where he belongs with his family. Here's all the details on him at that time. 3 foot, 40 pounds, blonde, blue-eyed, wearing a Minecraft T-shirt, clothing, which of course now he'd outgrown this and no telling what he's wearing now. But most certainly, some of the facial features and stuff will be the same, and most certainly he would answer to Monkey. That what a great name. And then we have what has come from this. Used to be on milk cartons. Well, now this company and they have decided that to join up with this collaboration of the Homeward Bound truck unveiling of this one company of Camway Transportation. I think they're outfitted 3 to 5 trucks with this information, and they're going to pick other children. Absolutely brilliant. I don't know who came up with it, but they earned everything they deserved. I don't know how much money they'll get for it, but absolutely they've earned every dime for this thought process and being this creative, because this will have a huge impact at some point. But anyway, that's pretty much the presentation tonight. Anybody have any questions? Like I said, let's not be naming any names or initials, and appreciate it. If you have that name, you have that information, call law enforcement. If you have Monkey, it's over, guys. Go ahead, take him to the nearest fire department, hospital, drop him off, and call 911. Don't care. But, guys, he needs to be home with his family. I know you have a relationship with him. You love him, but let's get him back to his family, to his little sister and his mom and dad. All right.
All right. First thing is Brandy Neal.
Okay.
Is in your chat, and I want to say thank you.
Yes, you have you're an inspiration. I talked to Levelhead earlier, and he said that you are constantly watching everything and staying up to date on all the videos. And I've watched some of your interviews, and I admire you and everything you're doing, and you keeping him at the forefront. I'm actually going to be on another broadcast in just a few minutes, 9:45, which is going to be Christina. Kristen. I'm sorry, Christina.
He's got too many Christines and Christinas.
Yes. But Kristen Behind the Crime Door show later tonight. And she actually also is going to be, I think he's going to be a focus on her show. And so I appreciate this opportunity to be on her show, and y'all follow along. And like I said, we're going to try to get as many people involved in this as we can, because the bigger the impact that we can have, the more people that know of it, the greater chance that we have to be able to have a success.
All right, here we go. We're going to start with Darkness Exposed. Wow, you did sniper work, Steve the Ninja.
Yes.
I don't know about the ninja part, but you know.
Well, when you wear a ghillie suit,
That's pretty much ninja.
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a couple of those ghillie thingies laying around too. All right, let's see here. And Lisa says, Michael looks like such a sweet boy.
Absolutely.
He sure does. Let's see here. Single Mama 4, I have followed Michael Monkey Vaughan from day one. He is a cutie bug, no doubt. All right, let's see here. Please join membership. Okay. Now, Anna Lissette has some interesting information. This case is right on the Idaho-Oregon border. Considering the work of identifying clusters of missing kids, might this case be considered in both states?
Yes.
Cross-border pattern, perhaps?
Absolutely. And that's part of the reason that when we did the Cyclops part of what our program out there is trying to get as many children listed that are missing in certain age groups so that you could look at a cluster of what ages they are and is there some type of organization or is there a predator out there that's focused upon a certain age group. But that's unlikely. Like I said, this isn't where Monkey residence is. That's a low risk area. Like I said, you got limited access. There's limited number of vehicles that come in and out of there every day. And it's the same vehicles. It's not like it's a central park area that is well known in a major city. This is on the outskirts of town, very limited access, high risk because there's a lot of families in that residential area, a lot of children there, but there's the risk of being identified or being trapped is extremely high. And so this isn't an area where you would expect such an abduction to occur unless they were known or were in the area, lived in the area, or knew Monkey. That's the way I would approach it.
All right, and checking convictions, power in numbers for sure. Yes, absolutely. All right, we've got Molly, Fruitland, Idaho is 50 miles from Boise, and like Anna said, very close to Oregon.
Yes. And,
okay,
and of course, law enforcement would be looking at all those parallels of are there other children that have been focused on? What are the registered offenders in the area? What crimes haven't been solved? What crimes were currently occurring prior to it? What individuals may have moved from the area? They look at all that stuff, pattern, behavioral science. When they get on the case and they looking at it, they can tell a lot about what type of persons or personalities might be involved in this. And of course, the victimology of Monkey being within a certain neighborhood, the family would know what type of animals he liked, what was his habits, what was his hobbies, what was his play times, who did he play with, what was his normal play area, and what individuals live within that normal play area that may have seen him day in and day out. And most certainly law enforcement would focus extremely on those areas before moving out.
All right, and Anna added, Fruitland is crisscrossed with major interstate highways and right next to the major freeway, I-84.
It is, and there's certain distance to it. And I think, he's wearing sandals, flip-flops, whatever he's wearing. But mostly from the profile aspects of it, you have to look at what was on that child's mind at the time. And everyone indicates that he's looking for a playmate. He's not mad. He hasn't been disciplined. He's out looking for someone to play with. It may be one thing if you made a child mad and he wants to go off and hide. And I don't know what his victimology is about Did he like to play hide and seek? And if he did, that might be something that plays into it. But that's law enforcement would have already conducted that and asked about that. And where would he normally hide? How far would he get from a residence? I mean, we found children in crawl spaces. We found them in closets under clothes. We found them in between bed mattresses. That when you get there, that children do certain things. And sometimes you have children that do hide, and they have a history of it. But like I said, the victimology would have, and law enforcement would have been able to determine what his habits were.
All right. And Lisa, I worry that people are looking for a blonde child too much, and his hair could easily have been dyed.
It could, absolutely. And and we have to look at that. And a good point.
Very good point. All right. Let's see here.
Especially only being a little over a year. Just had the anniversary last month. 1 year anniversary.
Wow. All right. Let's see here. True crime with Sunshine. Last seen wearing light blue Minecraft shirt and black boxer briefs with lime green stitching with size 11. Still have sticker on the heel of his flip flop. Sandals in Fruitland, Idaho.
And those are not things that you would wear for a long distance hike. And that's how come when you listen to law enforcement, they focus more upon an abduction of some type. And because, like I said, it's one thing that if a child's running or playing and they're in certain areas and certain environments, shoes fall off or, what's comfortable to play in.
All right. And Molly, also, he's been missing a year. His height, if staying average, could be 2 to 3 inches taller statistically.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's going to be changes. He's grown in a year. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We got one that grows all the time, don't we? Let's see here.
Wide open.
Yeah. CLH, I just don't understand how kids go missing so quickly.
And that's the thing is that if he crossed paths, and he did cross paths with a certain type of abductor, but what was that motive? Best case, it is someone that needs the emotional support of a child, and they put him in that environment. Worst case, of course, is the opposite side of that, that you have a predator out there that wishes to inflict harm or otherwise on a child. But we still have to work that case, and law enforcement would work it from both angles.
All right. And Kristen, behind the crime door, Steve, did they not do an Amber Alert in this case?
I don't believe so. And that's one of the most certain, at a certain age, that why would you even hesitate, and most certainly 5-year-old, when you get to teenage agers and older, there's an area of argument because older children, teenagers may start during that rebel phase, disappear for a few hours. I can understand that. But really in this date and age, we really, they say that it would become that if you overuse the Amber Alert system, it would become whereas people would just not pay attention to it. Well, I'd rather risk that and have a failure that people quit paying attention to it, and start having a lot of rescues of that. Oh, we didn't have to prove that there was an abduction. We just had a missing 5-year-old. You hit the button, the weather services, the news agencies, everybody across the board instantly starts broadcasting missing child. It comes across all your apps, your phones, why not do that? I mean, how do everybody's so focused now about getting information. Sometimes the government worries about things they don't need to worry about.
Understatement. Callie Dime, the Amber Alert system really needs reform across the country, in my opinion.
It does. And like I said,
I agree.
You can fight the government and try, and I hope they do, but a much quicker way is organizing and, take these channels that are out there, true crime, real crime channel that, of these people that get out there and they have a purpose, and I admire them. I mean, I go around the YouTube channels watching these creators that they go out there unselfishly every day and create content and about missing children. You have to admire.
And Teresa at Steve, whatever happened to interrogating people? Prime example, the adults who surrounded Summer Wells.
And they do interrogations, but they may not let that information out to the public. That may be, that as they do that information and you do those polygraphs and you do the verifications of alibis, you check their financials, you check their whatever their digital presence was for the day, because there's so many devices out there, from your computers, your laptop, iPads, phones, that people every day from work, otherwise their vehicles, that, they're constantly being pinged. And so there's a lot more information out there that law enforcement be able to look at. And, interrogations are only as good as the interrogator. I've seen some really good interrogators, and then I've seen some poor ones.
And checking convictions confirmed no Amber Alert. That's awful. All right. And Anna, July is hellaciously hot in this part of Idaho, reportedly 103 degrees Fahrenheit when Michael disappeared. Did he stay at Splash Pad in Cooler Park?
That's a possibility of where he was going to go find a playmate. I know there's a lot of, and I don't exactly know which one it is. The mother, from what I understand, is that she says he went to one resident, another residence, and eventually one resident brought him back home, reportedly, and then they went on about their business, and then he come up missing. And was it he's so intent on finding a playmate that he went to the splash park? Don't know, and at some point that will be answered.
And single mama 4, whoever brought him home before they did not make sure Michael went in the house, they should have.
And I think there's a lot of reflection upon it from them that they should have. And I think that I don't, from what I understand, and I have limited knowledge of it currently, but from my understanding of what I've seen, that they do regret that.
And Molly at Steve, how long before police knew about the white Honda Pilot and the white male, white shirt, black shorts walking?
I don't know the exactly time frame on that, but most certainly that will probably pop up here in a few minutes since you asked that question. I know it's broadly broadcast currently, and I don't know at what point whoever has that footage looked at it and said, "Hey, look at this."
All right. And Anna, within a very few hours, an abductor could have been in Oregon, Nevada, Washington, Utah. Good grief. Where would be a first gas stop? McDonald's, etc.? That's a good point.
If it's a planned abduction, none of this would have occurred. There would have been no gas stop. They would have, on a planned abduction, such as a kidnapping, they'd have everything that, whatever the ruse is to get him within a vehicle, to transport him or get him inside a residence, to hide him. They would have had everything set up. Now, if it's just a spontaneous abduction, they still would have had that they have to have a plan that, and it's an opportunity of either taking them to their residence, which is they're a single individual, but if there's people at home, they have to have some place that they could take him and keep him hidden. And so that limits a lot of different things. And law enforcement looks at those things.
All right. And True Crime with Sunshine, hashtag bring Monkey home. He stole my heart. Brandy stole my heart. I will be there until Michael comes home. Been there from day one. Nothing but love for this little man.
And this is one of my heroes here, True Crime with Sunshine. She does a lot of flyers. Absolutely unbelievable.
All right. And Lana, Kristen, no Amber Alert was issued. Ellie requested it twice that night. Wow. Wow.
And whoever the director of whoever mashes that button and makes that final call, you know, whatever the criteria is, it's wrong.
That's crazy. All right, let's see here. In Atlanta, the girl in the picture is a documentary about that exact subjects. She was kidnapped as a very young child and didn't know. Oh, wow.
And that's what I'm saying. There's so much hope out there, and you can see it within law enforcement. You can see it through this trucking company that they're so positive that they're putting vast amount of money to publicize that let's find Michael, which is all great signs that, you know, and so we have to be to the positive, support the family in any way we can and be positive about it. And, but also be looking for that, regardless of whoever it is that abducted him, that, you know, it's absolutely a senseless crime.
All right, Atlanta, abduction statistically takes place in the after school hours and the dinner time hours.
Yeah, you know, and it's like I said, it's just we know so much about how these crimes occur, yet we're still not able to stop them.
That's it. All right, Molly at Steve, does it look like the unknown male has a beard? Hard to tell if it's a shadow or a beard.
Of course, all the cases that we look at true crime, that you see this time and time again, that it's just so grainy that some of these cameras fail to do what needs to be done, and that's always been the history. I only saw one or two crimes in my life that it looked like someone had a really good video or a picture of a armed robber. All the others were just like this, so grainy you couldn't hardly tell anything other than race and sex.
And Anna, Idaho has 6% sales tax. Oregon has 0. Walmart and other big stores are over the border, and we in Idaho drive through Fruitland to get there. I would too. Thousands of people go through Fruitland.
They do, but thousands of people don't drive through this dead end area, limited access subdivision without a purpose. But that's, like I said, if they lived on a major road or they lived next to certain areas, then absolutely, I'm 100% on board with you. But if you're going to kidnap a child, this isn't the area that you would focus on as your first selection, that I'm going to go into a limited area and hope a child steps out here.
And Molly, the documentary of how they caught the Boston bombers is fascinating. Amazing what they can find in everyone's photos and cameras.
It is, absolutely.
I think it was on PBS or Frontline, maybe.
Yes.
All right, let's see here. Anna, Michael's face and case is now on the side of interstate trucks. Homeward bound project out of Washington State.
I mean, it's brilliant.
That is awesome.
Absolutely brilliant.
That is awesome. All right, let's see here. All right. And Anna, someone in another chat today said a car of a certain description was trying to lure children in Caldwell, Idaho. That is a bigger city, 30 miles or so down the freeway from Fruitland.
And hopefully, you know, regardless of who that predator is, hopefully they find them. And is it related to this? We don't know, but hopefully they find out whoever that one is.
All right, let's see here. In Atlanta, yes, Anna, that was me. I saw it posted on Nextdoor. It was a blue Dodge car, just like the one that was seen on camera in Michael's neighborhood. I have the screenshots.
I believe they identified one of the cars in the neighborhood.
They
and they probably identified a lot of cars in that neighborhood. because like I said, people are, they have certain traffic patterns.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see here. Atlanta. Oh, it was sent to LE. I always do that first. Plus, the people who made the post on Nextdoor had reported it as well. Perfect. All righty. Let's see here.
The power of this web thing is absolutely amazing.
It is amazing. Yes. Okay, here we go. Google machine is doing its
For you that don't
playing
know,
catch up. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Molly, just yesterday in our neighborhood, there was a creepy white panel van moving slowly. Lots of kids in our neighborhood. I took pics and notified LE. Always been told to watch out for those vans.
yeah. Every time I see a suspicious vehicle on my driveway, that's what I do. I walk up to the driver's window and take a picture of them. Yeah, never see them again.
He's good with the camera, that's for sure. All right, Atlanta. Yes, it's possible some rando came through and grabbed him, but it's more likely that someone who is being non-compliant knows something.
Yes, and statistically that is correct. Absolutely, that and when you add on the location of the neighborhood, the traffic patterns, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Lana, teach children to never approach parked cars. It's important. No kidding. All right, let's go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. At Steve or at Brandy Neal, what would help the average person like us to assist bringing Michael home, even if we're far away? Share on Facebook, IG, anything else we could do?
Do absolutely everything you can. Share this on every platform that you have. Share it in every chat that you come across. Share it on every, friend that's in whatever groups that you have, social groups, church groups. Let's, spread the word. The power's within, like the check and conviction said, power's in the numbers. We have it here, which is well said by check and convictions. That absolutely. What we have at our fingertips is something that has never been known to mankind before. And it's just how we choose to use it and what impact we want to have in true crime of how far we can take this. And as law enforcement learns to work with civilians that have responsible understanding and how to work and share information, that they will collab. And at some point, it will become functional and we will have more and more of impact day after day.
All right. And True Crime with Sunshine, Monkey's Law is amazing as well. Brandy worked hard to get his law passed.
I did, so we do have a
law
pass?
That is?
No, I hadn't seen it. I've got to look it up.
So we need to hear about that.
Absolutely. I'll look it up. Thank you.
All right. And let's see here. Molly, that is so fantastic. Putting the posters on the trucks. I have a friend who does work similar to that. I'll let him know. He's very kind. He may want to help the kids.
Absolutely.
That'd be awesome. That is awesome. Let's see here. This thing, is yours like jerky?
Nope.
Okay.
My computer costs about 3 times what hers did.
Obviously. Maybe I need the Google machine, the big Google machine, right?
Yeah, floor model.
Oh, okay. All right, let's see here. And Derek, hey, Derek, this is a sad story. I hope he gets home ASAP.
Absolutely. That's what we're here tonight for. And trying to bring as much focus. And we'll do that again on the next show if Kristen will work with me and everything. She says she does and she would. And which everybody, like I said, don't forget to check us out on Kristen. Follow me over there. Join her channel. Subscribe. Do whatever you can to help support her. She has a great show, great platform, and she's into true crime. She tries to have a great impact on people out there that need our help. And so there's a lot of great creators out there that have a great heart and great intent.
And Single Mama 4, congrats to Camway Transportation for putting Monkey's info out there.
Absolutely.
That is phenomenal to me. That is just the coolest thing. All right, let's see here. Teresita Hillis, will LE investigate anyone who has moved out of the area around the time Michael went missing?
Most certainly, they if it's something that was unplanned or whatever, whatever tips come in and they say, hey, so-and-so just left, they most certainly will follow up and see what type of job he had, what was going on, what happened. And I would expect no less.
All right. And Tracy put a link out there to standardize the Amber Alert system.
Yeah, standardize is that mom and dad, do you think we need to hit the alert button? And whatever mom and dad says, that's how I'd standardize it.
Yeah.
Hit it.
All right. Can't fool me. Has Oregon ever done a search for Michael?
That's a great question. I don't know. I'm sure someone will mention it.
Uh-huh. All right. And let's see here. Anna Lizette, there are signs and flyers all over southeastern Oregon. Okay. Whoa. It just did its thing again. I was trying to get about a dog. Oh, here we go. They had several dog teams that all got us sent, but that's all also has not been confirmed by LE, but Brandy has spoken to it, and that is from Lana.
And there's so many dogs that can have so many different skill sets that they can tell you a lot about crime.
Oh, checking convictions. I so appreciate the viewpoint of LE, and your experience is valuable 100%. Thank you so much.
It's an honor, and like I said, I just want to be an
That's
ambassador and try to get the information out there of how we can all work together and look at this stuff and hopefully have an impact.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, and from Lana, he was tracked all over his neighborhood. It was asked at the press conference if his scent was tracked to the freeway, and law enforcement said they could not answer.
Yeah.
That's scary. Okay. All right. So Molly is seeing the video is freezing periodically.
Probably so.
I hope not. Let's see here. Okay, and checking convictions. It is a community, and my channel and a few others join us tomorrow when Steve will be at 1 p.m. Central. The team will be there on my channel.
Yes, I'm doing an interview, and we'll be talking about, I'm sure this Michael, Monkey will be brought up tomorrow and everything on checking conviction. Like I said, they do, they have a team, True Crime, and they focus a lot of topic on those, and they have a lot of absolutely unbelievable people that look at it in a certain standard, and they have a great impact. Hopefully they'll be easy on me tomorrow.
In checking convictions, I will make sure I put that on the community page if I have not done that already. I can't remember. All right. And Molly and Steve, does an Amber Alert always need an identified car to look for? I remember that used to be a rule, and any of them that come up on my phone have a car and plate.
I think there's certain criteria in different states. And so that's how come it needs to be unified and minimized of what it needs. I don't care if we have a car. I don't care if we have anything. All we need is a missing child. because if you don't have that information and they say that, well, you don't have anything, you don't know what is in, don't care. You know, I just need that if we can get an image of what that child looks like out there in the most hands as quick as possible, that's what we need.
All right, at True Crime Web, in addition to Amber Alert, this is from Anna, it would be a good idea to notify gas stations, fast food places, convenience stores in case an abductor is traveling far from a crime. That's a good idea.
And I don't know what all the different applications are out there of what type of industries are notified, but most certainly that's a great idea.
All right. And digital, this is awesome. I'd rather get a notification of a missing child than a survey about a restaurant before I finish my meal.
I'm telling you. Yeah. They'll regulate.
Priceless.
Yeah, they'll regulate. I'm telling you, they're crazy.
It is priceless. All righty. Let's see here. That just cracks me up. All right. And Molly at Steve, do you know if the houses Monkey knocked on were his friends' houses or were they random? Maybe he saw something that scared him and he started knocking on doors.
The video I saw of the mother talking about, he knocked on that door and everything. He knocked on doors. That was his neighborhood. He knew who to trust, and most certainly people within the neighborhood, that longtime residents. Hey, Bible group, hadn't seen you a day or two. Glad you supporting us. Glad to see you tonight, and do everything you can about getting Monkey's information out there as best we can. And we are purchasing that equipment. We got a trip through the Midwest planned for October. And I'm getting my drone and I've got to get the DNA collection kits assembled and all my protective gear, so that whenever I process this stuff, that I don't contaminate. And but we're going to be moving out in October for about a week.
Yeah.
But thank you. That means a lot to us. Bible group really does.
All right. Let's see here. These people here talk to each other. Ozzy, Walmart, Lufkin, Texas. A lady approached a mom with blonde, blue-eyed boy, asked to buy him. Mom tries to leave. Lady tried to abduct child in parking lot in front of his mama. Whoa.
That didn't work out, I'm sure.
Boy, that'd have been a cat fight.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that probably wouldn't work out.
All right. And Anne, thanks for the info about LE process and missing child cases. Is there any database of GPS location data for commercial long-haul trucks in the area or not? I know they're highly regulated by the feds.
In this day and age, and it may have improved far more than what it was even in the last year, but I'm sure that they would have contacted a lot of truckers or whatever information, because there's a lot of video on a lot of these trucks now that they run 24/7.
All right, and Lizzie B at Steve, why have LE not gotten a warrant for the Honda Pilot or a warrant for financial phone pings for that day to rule them out or consider them a suspect based on that info?
I currently don't know what they have, and I don't know if that information has been released. There's certain, rights guaranteed in the Constitution that if someone doesn't want to cooperate, they don't have to cooperate. And but law enforcement would be looking at those in a specific manner. And there's more than one way to work a crime.
All right, and Kathy, we are teaching my 6-year-old grandson to scream and try to fight or run.
I saw a little 60-year-old girl the other day on the camera A guy
I
walking
forgot
down the
about
side
that.
on
Yeah.
sidewalk tried to abduct her, and she did that, fought and screamed, and he let go of her. And they caught him, and he's been charged.
Yeah. Ooh. Kelly, it's not just one individual who makes the final call on the AA. However, the woman who is the head of Idaho's Amber Alert was the one who helped arrange the semi trucks with Homeward Bound. Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe
I mean, everybody,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know how the Amber Alert's up there. I know how it's structured in the government thing, that there is a certain individual assigned that case. But like I said, I'm sure that there's many different agents or states that work it in different manners. And that's why they're trying to get it unified.
Yep. And Boston, Christian, scream, kick, fight, scream, kick, fight, scream, fight. There you go.
Yep.
All right, let's see here.
We'll have to start winding it up. I got.
Yep, we're gonna get you out of here. Okay, Aussie Taekwondo helps kids practice escaping abduction. I'm a karate girl, so I'm all in that. Okay, Teresa, never let anyone take you to a second location. He's told me that for 30 something years.
Very few people ever return from the second location.
Yes. Yes. Crazy. Crazy, 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 crazy. All right, let's see here. I think we're gonna let's see here. Oh, care in Canada. Parents, excuse me, be careful of who overhears you use your child's name. Nefarious people come in all shapes and sizes.
These predators are absolutely amazing how they pick up and how they prey upon children and stuff, from ballparks, ball games. And it most certainly is scary that how they target sometimes. And we most certainly should all be aware. Good advice.
Yep. All right. Let's see here. I think we're almost done. It's still doing its thing. Let's see here.
But like I said, y'all do everything you can. Contact everybody you can. Contact, your representatives, whatever. Let's get this here to headline as much of the country as we can in the next few days. Let's try to have as big an impact, get this word out there as much as possible.
Okay, one last thing. This is from Callie. Thanks to Monkey's Law, an alert and information regarding said missing persons is now shared electronically via cell phone and shares the info to surrounding LEs statewide and to surrounding states. That is awesome.
Yeah, we always had it. It was, back, cell phones weren't, we had bag phones during the transition period.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
And so they've come a long way. And,
very much.
So the applications and where it's going to be in a few years is mind-boggling, and it should be there.
Yes. All right. And Tracy has put the link to Monkey's Law out there for us. My headlines, LE has not cleared anyone. Oh, no, we're going to add that one. We said nope on that.
Let's focus on the child. If let's not focus upon attacking or shaming or anything. If that's all you got to do, go find you somewhere else to go.
All right. And Kristen behind the crime door, hang tight just a second for me. Okay, he got it. What? That's your link to StreamYard.
Okay. All right. Yeah, got it.
He got it. All right. So you're good. Thank you.
Like I say, don't forget about checking us out on Christian behind the crime door tonight, because we're going to be on there in probably about 30 minutes. Oh, no, not even that.
Not even that. So we're going to get you out
25 minutes.
And Tracy put the link out there for checking convictions. And then Kristen behind the crime door is out there.
Give her a wrench at some point.
Which one?
Kristen behind the crime door.
Does she want a wrench?
I don't know, but she can drop her link and everything.
All righty. So hold on. I've got to, if I bounce everybody off, we love you, but you know how I am changing this thing. So hold on for me. Let's see if I can. All right. You won't.
No, you get Kristen in there.
I did.
Okay.
Kristen should have a wrench. Do you want to do? We got more comments coming. Okay. In
Yeah,
checking
just do the comments.
convictions. Thank you. Okay, they're all talking to each other there.
Okay.
All right, so it looks like we're good.
But yeah, just go on YouTube, type in Christian Behind the Crime Door, and you'll find her. And she's got a show coming on in about 24 minutes.
And he needs a break. He's got a scratchy throat. So we're going to give him a break tonight. And we thank you for all the new members. Yay, y'all made my day. Thank you for the donations. You helped him make his day. And then we can get ready for October. And keep Michael out there. We're going to bring him home. What else you got?
That's it. But I thank all y'all and appreciate you.
When you going to be back?
For all the support. And should be back on Saturday. And let's try to have an impact. Let's try to do something good. And let's bring Monkey home just as soon as we can. And see y'all Saturday. And I'll see you
9:45
for my show. But I'll see you tonight in about 20 minutes on Christian's show. And then I'll
tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 2:00 Eastern time, I'll see you on Checking Convictions site on her channel. And and then of course I'll see you Saturday. But y'all have a great night. Let's try to make and have an impact and try to do something good.
Thank y'all.
See y'all.